So the CS market is up pretty much double digits once again, but you guys have seen all that already. So today we're going to be talking about some cases, which cases you should invest into, which ones are doing the best, and all that jazz. So let's actually start with which cases you should invest into. In the prime drop pool in the game currently, there's 5 cases, and you have a 99% chance of getting one of them every week, assuming you level up your XP enough to get a drop. Those cases are the Kilowatt, Revolution, Recoil, Dreams and Nightmares, which is somehow like $2, and the Fracture case. But you also have a 1% chance of getting something from the rare drop pool, and this includes pretty much all the older drops in the game, ranging from a Bravo case, it could be a Chroma case, a Gamma case, all of these cases that are very expensive at this point, and a lot of them are super limited as well. Of course, there's only a 1% chance to get any of the rare drop pool items, and there's 31 of them, so that chance is extremely low. And then there's just some discontinued cases that you can't get at all anymore, and of course the purchase only cases that are from operations in the past, which have super limited supply, like the Operation Riptide and Broken Fan case, and Shattered Web, I guess, too, and of course the other 2 cases that are in the game right now. So pretty much all you need to know from this is the rare drop pool cases are pretty much the only cases you should be looking at. These don't have a lot of demand, and I wouldn't consider them great investments. And obviously, you've got the operation cases as well, but they're super limited, and I wouldn't touch them personally because I think they're too expensive right now. So let's start off by looking at a couple cases. And which one do I want to start with? We could start with the Revolver case. Now, the interesting thing about the Revolver case is it shares rare special items with 11 other cases in the game. Of course, this thing was 3 cents at one point when it was actively dropped. Now it's $4.27. Now, that might seem expensive, but it shares rare special items with all of these other cases. These 3, very expensive. I don't think the CSGO weapon case is that much more than like $10, but still very expensive compared to this $4 case. Bravo case is pretty much, you can't buy that thing. It's too much money. These are expensive. Winter Offensive case is the second cheapest, and then I believe Riptide and Vanguard. These are all around the same prices. But with a Revolver case, it's like $4 and 20 something cents. Probably because it has not a single good item in it except for the knives. I mean, the red is literally a revolver, and nobody wants that thing. Well, if we look at the Phoenix case, which has something like the Op Asimov, and for whatever reason, I can't remember what the other red in it is. That thing's garbage, yeah, that's why. It's got the AK Redline. It's got some good skins in it, so it's bound to be a bit more expensive and have a decent amount of demand still. So I think if you're looking at one of these 11 cases to invest into, I still think the Revolver case is the best option here. I wouldn't really touch any of these. I'm a big fan of sticking with the cheaper cases. Where'd it go? Did I close out of it? I think I did. I'm a big fan of sticking with the cheaper cases like the Revolver case because I simply think they have more room to run in a time like this. And I mean, obviously you'd rather own bulk of a cheaper case and want it to run up a lot more than just buy a couple very expensive cases that won't run up as much.
This video is sponsored by Skins Monkey. If you've been looking to trade out your old boring skins for new ones, Skins Monkey is the place. By clicking the link in the description, you'll get a 35% deposit bonus when depositing with cash and crypto, and up to a free $5 bonus on your first trade. So be sure to click that link. Skins Monkey also has the freebies tab where they run 24/7 giveaways that are completely free to join with crazy skins. And if you're looking to actually get your hands on some good skins, Skins Monkey is the quickest way to do it. So be sure to get that free $5 and 35% deposit bonus now, trading your CSGO skins with that link at the top of the description.
But that's only 11 cases in the game right there, and they kind of all share the same theme. So out of those 11, I'd personally pick the Revolver case for your highest chances of rewards, I guess, or highest chance of profit, or the largest amount of profit, most amount of potential. But there is plenty of other cases in the game. For example, the Clutch case, which has some gloves, like the Vice gloves and stuff like that. Now, this case has one big issue. Unlike the glove case, which shares rare special items with the Operation Hydra case, which is obviously discontinued, and the glove case is currently a rare drop as well, the Clutch case shares items with the Revolution case, and the Revolution case is still actively dropped in-game, so you can't expect the Clutch case. I have so many tabs open, I keep losing it. You can't expect the Clutch case to go up in, completely insane amount in price. It's probably not going to be worth $10 because you still have the same rare special items, the same gloves in the Revolution case, which is still in the game, but it can increase massively. And obviously, you're hoping for the Revolution case to be removed at some point if you really want to make a ridiculous amount of money with this thing. But I do still think it's a good buy. I own a ton of them, and personally, I wouldn't sell until we get to like $1.60. or around whatever high this was all the way back then. But still, the clutch case becoming more and more limited as days go on. There's still 5 figures of them being sold every 24 hours on the market, so supply is coming down drastically. So I do think it's still a good investment, and I have about 2,000 of them. Another case, and the only other case that I invest in, is the CS20 case. Now, personally, this is like my favorite case to invest into, and I'm very surprised that the price is not much higher. Actually, it was like $1 a few days ago. Now it's gone up a lot, but I'm surprised the price is not higher because it only, of course, has the classic knife. Sure, it's not a knife with a ton of demand, but it is a standalone knife in a standalone case. It's the classic knife is not in any other case, and it never will be. It's only in the CS20 case, which is, of course, a rare drop as well. So you've got a standalone case or a standalone knife in a case that isn't dropped anymore. That is just the perfect recipe for a case to blow up in price. I bought these at, I believe, like 9 cents or 10 cents. I bought them right when they got removed from the drop pool. So I do think, just potential-wise, the CS20 case is like the best case in the game for this. Sure, you would need a classic knife to pick up in demand quite a bit, but I still think this is like the best case to invest into right now. It's only worth $1, which compared to the rest of the market is not that much at all. And once again, it's got a standalone knife, which is pretty much the best thing you could have. Now, there is some other cases as well that I want to mention. The Gamma case, for example, which has stuff like the Karambit Gamma Doppler, obviously a super sought after knife. I've covered it in a couple other videos, but just a normal Phase 2 Gamma Doppler, for a Karambit, I should say, costs 10 grand. Just a Phase 2, not an Emerald, not anything, just normal Phase 2 costs 10 grand. So it's not surprising. This, and of course the Gamma 2 case, the only two cases that share the Gamma Dopplers for the Karambit Emerald and the other knives like that, have blown up in price. Now, personally, I would hold this case for a very long period of time. Of course, you'd want to be buying a couple of weeks ago when this thing was only $5 and not $8, but I would personally wait to buy on cases like this where we've seen something like this happen, doubling in price in in 2 days. Actually, that's absolutely insane. But I would wait for spikes like this to stop happening, wait for it to come back down in price, maybe at around like $5 I'd buy. But once again, for me personally, I'd rather be buying CS20 cases at $1.20 than a Gamma case at $8, because you're not gonna have anywhere near as many people unboxing these things at this point. But sure, there's way less of them in supply, so they're bound to be more expensive, but that's what I'm judging it off of. Do I think they could get higher to like $15? Yeah, I do think so. I don't think it's going to happen soon. I think we're going to need supply to come down a lot more. But who really knows in this market? At this point, anything can happen. But personally, I'm staying away from cases like this that have blown up recently. If you look at any old case chart, I guess you could say, you could see these long periods of consolidation, and then just something happens in the market, whether it be an increased player count in the game or other items in the market spiking, and then people kind of, I don't want to say start panicking, but start getting really hyped up and just buying these off the market. Or since Karambit Gamma Dopplers have gone up, these jump up in price as well, since they actually become worth it to unbox, and then you've got something like this happening. So personally, I wouldn't buy these right now. When things settle down, we'll see what level they get at, and then maybe you could, start dipping your toes in the water. Hopefully they don't just jump up to $20, and you guys could actually hold on to them before that. But still, we're seeing a lot of this in cases, and it makes sense because supply is getting to be so limited, and I do think that will happen eventually, whether it may be a couple years out or whatever, for cases like the CS20 case and the clutch case, because I mean, that supply isn't that high right now. If you see a massive amount of demand pick up for this case, it could very well be another $5 case as well. Final case that I want to cover is the Spectrum and the Spectrum 2 cases. Now, this is another case that those are the only two cases in the game with the rare special items that they have. And they are once again some of the most sought after knives in the game. For example, Butterfly Marble Fades, Butterfly Dopplers, Butterfly Tiger Tooths. These are some of the most sought after knives in the game, and very good skins in here as well, of course. The butterfly knife is really the only thing you're hoping for in this case, to be completely honest with you. But those Dopplers are getting very expensive, so it's no surprise people still want to unbox these. You unbox a normal butterfly Doppler, it's like almost 10 grand at this point, if not more. So the Spectrum cases, I'm still a big fan of as well, pretty much for the same reason as the Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 cases. I guess they're a bit cheaper. This is a chart I'd be much more comfortable with buying than the Gamma cases, which have, they jumped up to $10 here. That doesn't happen in these cases, so I'd be much more comfortable buying one of these. But anytime with cases, I'd say you got to be comfortable holding for years. We're buying into a massive hype spike right now, so don't be shocked if prices come back down. I would say, honestly, to expect it. But once again, supply is so low for these cases that you could probably make a silly decision like buying into the hype, and it'll still play out in like a year, and you'll still, have profit with your investment because the knives are just so expensive and the player count's so high, which is just keeping demand up. So I do like these cases at this price as well. Personally, I'd stick with the Spectrum 2 case instead of Spectrum 1 case because, I mean, it's $2 cheaper. Same rare special item. Sure, the supply is a bit higher, but, I mean, screw it. I'd always stick with cheaper cases. But for me right now, I'm just sticking with the CS20 case and the clutch case. If anything, I would double down on the CS20 case. I do think this thing is going to run massively. I don't know. I guess it's already like 10x in price for my initial investment, but seeing all the other cases at like $5-10 has gotten me a bit jealous and a bit greedy. But I haven't sold any yet. Got about 2,000. Wow, that's actually a lot. So hopefully they get to like $5 each. I make like 10 grand or something crazy and then get up out of there. But that is my vision for the market right now. Hopefully you guys make some profit, take some profit, and stay safe out there. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.